Congratulations to Amana. This is your 60th anniversary, and I was telling Bishop Rodel a while ago, I've been going around the different provinces, meeting with the different ministerial fellowships. Pero ang sabi ko sa kanya, kakaiba ang Amana. Congratulations, Pamana. Tapikin mo nga yung katabi mo. Yeah, the victory of Pamana is because you are here. Pakisabi naman po, you are here.
We are here. We are here.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Pamana. But of course, an organization won't last 60 years and won't celebrate this kind of gathering without leaders, without fathers from God, continuously using. With all of your hearts, would you just bless and thank the leaders who are seated here? Even if you're just somewhere there. Thank God for them. Malakpakan naman natin sila po. Kita nyo naman, ginawitan pa kayo. Hallelujah. Kailan ba ako tinawagan ni Bishop? And I was really praying unto the Lord, Lord, what would be your message to Pamana? And I was contemplating on two topics. And last Wednesday, Bishop Rodel called me in the midst of our strategic planning. And he said, by the way, Pastor Nate, we have a theme in Pamana, and our theme is Father's Love. And because of the theme, because I listed down two last topics, I've been praying unto the Lord, among these two, who will I speak? What is your message to them? And when he called, he confirmed one of those two last topics.
Amen.
Experiencing the Father's love.
Amen.
Experiencing the Father's love. I grew up in a Christian community. My late father was the missionary pastor in the mountains. That's why, even though I grew up in a pari, I was born in the mountain province. Taga-bundok po ako. I know how to climb mountains. I know how to cross rivers. I know how to climb bayabas. And our denomination is a very fundamental denomination. That if I'm still with my former denomination, you are all backsliders. You know my denomination. And because of that denomination, I grew up with Bibles, I grew up with hymnals, I grew up with prayers, I grew up with theologies, I grew up attending family devotion every night. When I say every night, it's literally every night. That's my background. When I was in my high school days, I started to enjoy the world. I tasted all kinds of vices. Not only during my high school days, but even up to my college days. Kaya ako po, if you ask me, anong school ka nag-graduate, anong alma mater mo, wala akong masabi. Magaling lang ako mag-enroll. Praise the Lord, one day, He brought me back into the fold. And guess what? Because of my denomination, the immediate journey, someone coming from a backslidden life is, you better go to Bible school. Study and prepare because you are going to serve the Lord. Which I did. Unfortunately, my uncle, who was also a pastor then, was discouraging me. You better take law. And you can still serve the Lord if you take law. But because of my passion, I went to the seminary. So on fire, leaving everything. Leaving a school that's so prominent. I did not finish the college. So excited in the seminary, wanting to serve God, leaving everything. But I guess around 3 months in the school, in a very conservative seminary, begin to bring the world inside the seminary again. But this time, Bishop, kakaiba. Marami akong kasama, mga pastor's kids din. You know some of them because they are sons of denominational heads. But of course, from time to time, I would pray. From time to time, I would run to the prayer room. From time to time, I would cry out. From time to time, I would fast. From time to time, somebody would come to me and counsel me. But then that would go on and on and on. But by the grace of God, I finished my seminary days and went to the full-time ministry, pastoring. And then I started to enjoy the other side of our Christian community. Kasi kami ho ay silent night. Then I discovered meron palang joy to the world. Amen! Meron palang joy to the world. Because when I encountered the Holy Spirit, boom! Signs, wonders, miracles, healing all over. That has been my life. The lame would walk, hindi blind. Hindi ko pa nasubukan. The deaf could hear, deliverance everywhere, even in the wee hours of the morning. People would come to our congregation, they come in jeeps, experience signs, wonders, and miracles. And our church building could not accommodate people anymore. We were exploding. And we started to build, and we started to go to different places of this nation to start some churches, including Tarlac. But in the midst of this quote-unquote glorious success in the ministry, I still struggle with sin. Dahil, Bishop, walang ganyan sa pamana. Walang kagaya sa pamana. Then you fast again. I could fast for days. I could fast for 12 days. Time and time. When I would be thrown in a situation and there would be so much pressure, I would fail again. Of course, I got married, I have a daughter. Pati kasi oras natin, sabi ko, teaser lang today. Even, and I am in the height of quote-unquote success, even in NFS, struggle with so many sins. They call me the meekest man in NFS. They call me, they had seen me bring out in anger in any given situation in the ministry. But when I go home, watch out. I'm a different man. Walang ganyan sa pamana. I would receive a text from my wife. And this text would say, Nate, you just love yourself. And I would receive that text. See, na trace of miletics, I would prepare 3 points to argue with my wife. But I would cite myself, I would tell myself, oops, you are a pastor. So when you go home, you better apply everything that you've been teaching in the pulpit. One is, if her voice is strong or high, you better keep quiet. Tama mo ba yun? Narinig mo ba yun? So I would cite myself, I'm a pastor, I would go, I would fix everything, and so forth and so on. I would be thinking of all the seminars that I've heard on how to patch up some disagreements between a husband and wife, particularly a pastor and a pastor's wife, right? Parang di nyo narinig yung mga seminar na yun. But guess what? Hindi pa ako nakakaupo. All the 3 points outline you began. All the preparations you began. And you know what will happen, right? A conversation that even your neighbors will be part of it. Because they will become healers. But you're the biggest man in the ministry. You're the man in the ministry. You're up there. You go to different places, you go even abroad, and they would listen to you. The demons are even afraid of you. But when you go home, it's a different life. But I hate it. I've applied everything that I've heard, I've learned. Seminar here, seminar there, deliverance here, inner healing there, and so forth and so on. One day, in Palawan, I guess that was Palawan 3, I heard a message. Palawan 2, I heard a message about the Father's love. When I first heard about this man who would come and speak about the Father's love, I said to myself, okay, wait. I've written a lot of theologies about the love of God. Mataas na grade. I've preached so much about the love of God. But when I heard this man, something happened in my heart. I could not articulate it. I could not figure it out. Because of my training, 5 years in Bible college, 4 years in MA in APS, my training is, if somebody would be speaking here, I could almost read his notes. That's my training. But I could not understand so much about what he's saying about the love of God, but something was happening here. Unfortunately, parang nabitin ako. And I said, I want that message. And that started my journey. And that went on and on and on and on, and I pursued every seminar about the Father's love. I pursued. I attended A school. Those of you who have heard about A school, about the B school, I pursued these encounters. And so allow me to share just one of those many revelations and encounters that I received that allowed me to automatically, I could not even explain why, automatically could not do anymore those deviations that I've been doing, even though I fasted, even though I prayed, even though I've asked for counseling. Let me just give you one. When I read Genesis 1, 26 and 27, it says, God created us in His image and in His likeness. Amen? God created us in His image and in His likeness. In the 1 John 4, 7 and 8, we all know this, God is love. Say it, God is love.
God is love.
If we are created in His image and in His likeness, and if God is love, then who are we? We are love. Let me repeat that. If God created us in His image and in His likeness, and if God is love, then who are we? We are love, meaning the fullness of life that I carry is when I am full of love. There can only be satisfaction in me if I am nourished with love. I can only say I am successful if I am oozing with love. I can only say I have arrived if I am love. Or let me put it this way in our ministry, I can only say I am mature if I am saturated with love. Meaning a mature Christian is a Christian who is love. Come to think of it, kapatid. Let's just put this into our daily life. When was the happiest moment of your life? By the way, husband and wife, nakikita ko rin. When was the happiest moment in your life? Di ba nung first time mo narinig si Mrs. na, oo, ano ba ako? Makalalakihan. Parang cloud nine, right? Parang di kayo masaya nung sinagot kay Mrs. Come to think of it. When was the happiest moment of your life? When you know and you know and you know that somewhere out there in that house is loving you. Tama ba? Balik ka rin natin. Sa mga kababaihan. Kailan tayo laging bumabalik sa salamin? When was that moment? When you were always up there in that mirror. Sige nga. Especially when you were alone inside your room. When was that? And you know and you know and you know that someone out there loves you. Ang ba? Because our nature is love. Because we are love. Meaning the only nourishment, the only satisfaction of humanity is love. Because that's our image. Come to think of it. Do you want to sit down forever to someone who is angry? Do you want to sit down with someone forever? You know, even if she's your wife, even if it is on a Sunday, you don't want to sit down with her. If she's angry, ganun din sa kabila. Nobody would want to sit down with a husband, even if he carries a deep bucket, if he's angry. Tama mo? That's life. That's why Ed Silvosa said, the worst thing in a Christian life is you are right but you are angry. The worst thing in a Christian life is you are right but you are angry. And I am afraid the body of Christ, something like this. We are always right. We are always right but we are angry. That's why nobody would want to come to us. Nobody would want to hang around with us. Nobody would want to sit down with us. We are always the last option in the community. Sa kanang tatakbo community pag wala na silang matakbuhan. What if, come to think of it, what if every Pamana congregation, what if every Pamana congregation is love? Ooh. Kahit walang pera yan mo, pag nag-uumabon ng pag-ibig, uupuan mo.
Amen.
By the way, when I speak of love, because I'm short of time, when I speak of love, I mean comfort. I mean affirmation. I mean value. I mean welcome. I mean embrace. These are the different facets of love. Maybe experience, we just came out from a board meeting, and that board meeting was something like, ooh, heavy board meeting. As you went out from that room, somebody embraced you, even without saying a word. It's heaven, because that's your nature. You're looking for love. God created us in His image and in His likeness. And if God is love, then we are love. Unfortunately, because of sin, let me just jump immediately. Unfortunately, because of sin, we were cut off from the source of love, right? We're cut off from the source of love. Now, what happens when you are cut off from the source of love? What happens when you are cut off from the source of your nourishment, from the source of your contentment, from the source of your comfort, from the source of your embrace, from the source of your home, from the source of your welcome? What happens? You starve, right? You go hungry. You starve. And a starving person will always go out and look for nourishment. But because we were cut off from the source of love. we went out and looked for nourishment in the wrong places of love. I call them pseudo-love. There are many pseudo-love out there. Sometimes it's position. Alam niyo yung mga politiko, I love them. Before I would go to the streets, I love them. I know why they're looking for position. I know why they're fighting so much for position. Actually, they're not looking for position. They're not fighting position. They're looking for love. They just don't know it. They thought when they are up there, they're okay. The truth is, that's why you hear that line, it's only up there. Some would look for love in power. Some would look for love in power. Unfortunately, even though you're the most powerful man on earth, I'll guarantee you, someone will disobey you. And most of the time, it's your wife or your husband. Wala yan sa pamana, Pastor. Wala yan sa pamana. Pasensya na po kayo. Wala. Sa Pasay lang yan. Sa Pasay lang. Wala sa pamana. Or sometimes it's your children who will disobey you. Even if you're the most powerful man. Even if you're the most powerful person. So power cannot nourish the whole of your heart. Another pseudo-love is possession. Right? Possession. Kala niya, kung nakabili na siya ng Fortuner, it's forever. Di po, sa buwan lang yan, believe me. That's why the rich, even if they are millionaires already, even if they are already billionaires, or trillionaires, they'll still go out and look for possession. Because the reason there is they're not looking for possession, they're looking for love. Because love is our DNA. Love is our real nourishment. Tingnan niyo yung cellphone. There was a time, I'm not techy. Talagang, I'm not techy. Di ako nga mag-laptop. Sabi nga ni Mr. King, bakit si Pastor Nick? Mayroon pa rin result kahit walang mga laptop. Hindi kasi ako techy. There's a reason why. But one time, I saw this iPad. Wow, ganda! Then I desired for it. Came up with a letter as executive director of the organization. Yes, I have this, I have this, I have this. But because of the equipping that we're going on, I need this. Sa totoo lang po, hindi ko naman talaga kailangan. I was just desiring, and it was approved. Here comes this iPad. My joy, it only lasted for 1 hour. Hindi ko na nga nagagamit, hindi ko na alam kung nasaan, kaya wala akong dala. My possession could not nourish, could not nurture your real DNA. Because we are created for love. It is only love that could really nourish us.
Amen.
Another pseudo-love. Ito malapit sa atin. Kaya medyo hito-hito is performance. Performance is a pseudo-love. You cannot bring home the medal every day. That's where I failed so many times. Because my mother was a perfectionist. She doesn't want 98, she doesn't want 99. She only wants 100%. And I cannot bring home every day. So what happened? Well, go for it when you cannot bring it every day. That's why I went out and looked for love in vices. I went and looked for love in drugs, in barkada, in everything. Because I could not satisfy the standard of my mind. Because that's not love. And when I graduated to the ministry, I thought I'm fine, I thought I'm okay. But that filter was still in my heart.
So when I was in the ministry, I would attend pastoral movement fellowship. Okay, magkakapatid kami dito, magtutulungan dito. But guess what? Deep inside my heart, that's the truth. What is the deepest thought in my heart? I would attend ministerial fellowship so I could see what Pastor Rodel is doing. So I could copy him. I could bring it in my congregation. So the congregation would be big. And if my congregation is big, my performance would be well, and I would receive a thought, and that would be love. And because I was chasing love in the wrong place, I sacrificed my family. I would leave home 4 o'clock. I would come home 11 in the evening. My wife and my daughter would still be sleeping when I come home. When I leave, they would still be sleeping, and I don't see them. Our neighbor one day approached me and said, "It seems like you are a boarder in your house." Walang ganyan yan sa pamana ng pastor. Kapag mahal lahat yan, kumubuhin lahat yan. December 24, 6 o'clock, I will still be there having a meeting. December 31, 6 o'clock, I will still be there having a meeting. I mean literal 6 o'clock Arabic. November 1, I will still be there doing a meeting. I thought I was doing ministry because I love the people. I realized I was doing ministry because I thought I could look for love in the ministry. Ministry is not wrong, but it becomes a source of your affirmation. It becomes a source of your value. It becomes a source of your welcome or your comfort. This is through the love. Another pseudo love is pleasure. Pleasure. We were talking a while ago about the statistics in Singapore. In Singapore, people who open pornography materials are older people. We thought if you are married and have children, you have grandchildren, you are already okay. No. As long as there is a hole that was not nourished with love, when it comes to comfort, to go out and look for comfort in pornography or in other places. We tried fasting, we tried praying, we tried deliverance, but as long as the hole of comfort is not nourished in your heart, even if you're a pastor or a minister. And I was telling a while ago, the percentage is very low. In the United States, unahan ko na po, hindi ito sa pamana. In the United States, in 2016, there's a survey among pastors. 80% of pastors would see open pornography materials in the United States. And I hope and I pray that is not the case in the Philippines. But these pastors are not bad pastors. Just don't get me wrong. They also prayed. They also fasted. They've done everything that they could. But unless the whole of love is not nourished, we always go out and look for love in the wrong places. And sometimes it's pleasure. Tignan niyo po ang mundo. Even if they have 3, 4, 5 other women, it's not enough. And women, for men, do you need? Because the real DNA is love. The real DNA is love. No. What is worse here, mapatid, is this. What is worse here is this. And you go out and look for love in the wrong places, you get hurt, right? Why? You cannot bring home the 100 every day. You cannot bring home the trophy every day. What else? You cannot get all the possessions that you want, right? You cannot always be on top. You cannot always be the most powerful man, right? Or woman. What happens? You get hurt. And a hurting person will always hurt others. Listen to this. A hurting person will always hurt others, even if you don't like it. You will be given in a situation that you cannot control. You will hurt others. And most of the time, I call the others family. The others are sometimes called wife. The others are sometimes called husband. The others are sometimes called children. The closest people in your heart would be the first recipient of those hurts. And I begin to encounter this, and I begin to understand all of these things. Then, boom, a flashback ng aking isip. No wonder, even though I'm inside the congregation almost every day growing up, then I tried to remember expressions of love in my family. But let me tell you this, my father and my mother, they love me so much. I'm even the mama's boy. But I could not remember the time that my mother embraced me. Because love is not an idea. Love is not a topic. Love is not a concept. Love is not a principle. Love is a stuff that when you receive it, you can give it. If you could not receive love, you cannot give it away. And I understood my mom. She did not also experience embrace from her parents, so she could not do it to me. I tried my best to remember a time or a situation when I was growing up where my mom would have embraced me and I could not. And I went out and looked for embrace in that places. I also tried to remember if my mom affirmed me and said this line, "Nate, I love you," but I could not remember it. She loves me, I know. Because I am love. And I am designed to receive the nourishment of love. And what nourishment of love is the word of affirmation. Nate, I love you. You are good. You are okay. But instead, what I heard is this: your cousins are better than you. Your sister is better than you. Those words was pain and hurts. And a scar will never grow. A scar will never grow. And in those areas of your life that you receive scars, you are still a little boy and a little girl. Even if you are already a grown-up man today, even if you are already a pastor or a minister or a bishop, you are still a little boy. And when you're given into the same situation, you react automatically as a little boy. And most of the time, you react negatively to hurt others. So when I begin to ponder all of these things in my life, why is it? How could I receive the love of my parents? They're already dead. But I've got good news. The source of love is our Heavenly Father is always here.
Amen.
Yes, we don't have perfect parents. And because we don't have perfect parents, chances are all of us here have holes in our hearts. All of us here have scars in our hearts. And I'll guarantee you, those holes in our hearts, those scars in our hearts, are those areas that we hurt others. Haven't you noticed you hurt others, you hurt your wife, you hurt your children, you hurt your husband, over and over again in the same issue? The same issue? The same situation? Because that's where the scar cannot grow. But the good news is, the source of love is here and can fill the holes of our hearts. Every unlove that we receive from our parents, our real Father in heaven could replace it with something even better today.
Amen.
Because I did not receive so much stuff of love from my father and from my mother. But let me repeat that, they love me so much. And as expressions of the love of the Father, they could not give unto me what they did not receive. When I became a husband, so I told you a while ago, so much discussion between husband and wife. When I would go home, when I see my daughter, the first thing that I would tell her is, did you get 100 today? During recognition, what did you receive? First time she received bronze, and I said, why did you not receive silver? The following year, she received silver. And I said, why did you not receive gold? The following year, she brought home gold. And I said, how many of you got gold? She said, 6. You were 6. One day, I fetched her to her school. I smelled something. She started also to look for love in someone else. I berated her. We cried together. As a pastor, I lectured everything that I know. Boom, 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 boom. And she was also crying, yes, Papa, I won't do it again. That's not true. Because of the hole also in her heart, she went on and on and on. My wife, she went on and pursued her career. We were still at home. Yes, she went to the ladder. You're the man in the ministry, but at home, you don't have a family. Of course, we've got the suffer. The relationship, the dynamics of the family is not there. Then, as I said earlier, when I begin to receive the love of the Father, guess what? I cried for 1 whole year. And I would drive, go to the office, I would slide a CD of the Father's Love CD. There are so many CDs and so many USBs. And I would be crying inside the house, even shouting, "Wah!" The pains that were pushed down started to come out. For 1 whole year. Some I remember, some I could not remember why. Especially when it comes to mother issues. Every time I would slide the mother issue CD, I would be crying inside the car. "Ah!" For 1 whole year. I cried and I cried and I cried. And because we are not perfect, I received again the same text from my wife. Nate, he just loved himself. By the way, we went together with my wife.
in this girl. We attended all the seminars together. And she said again, Mary, you just love yourself. And guess what? I was at the office at the third floor when I received the text. You know my reaction? I was looking for the reaction. It was not. I did not prepare the 3 points. I did not cite myself. I went home. She spoke. But I was so at peace in front of her. As she was speaking, it was loud and compassion was just coming out from her. You don't need to try to be good. If you are trying to be good, you don't have love. Don't try to be good, Christian. If you are trying to be good, you don't have love. Why? 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not boast. Right? Before, I used to teach patience. You should be patient. 1, 2, 3. You should be kind, 1, 2, 3. You should be good, 1, 2, 3. You should not boast, 1, 2, 3. You should not lie, 1, 2, 3. You should not love evil, 1, 2, 3. But I keep on doing and doing and doing those things anyway. The negative things. Because if you read properly, 1 Corinthians 13 it says, love is, these things are all results. They are just fruits of love. So don't try to be good. Don't try to be patient. Don't try to be kind. But be the best recipient of love. Because when you receive love, you automatically become patient. You automatically become good. You automatically hate evil. It's not an effort. It's your DNA. For example, you have a 9-year-old boy. And yes, maybe he is naughty in the school. The other students might not like him. They might not be patient with him. The teachers might not be patient with him. The principal might not be patient with him. The administrator might not be patient with him. The school staff might not be patient with him. But because you love him, you will always be patient with him. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not boast. That's why I don't teach anymore how not to be boastful. You cannot do it. Receive love, then you automatically won't be boastful.
Amen.
That's why if there's one thing you need to be expert with, if there's one thing you need to be expert with, Pamana, be expert in receiving love. Be expert in receiving love. Unfortunately, I've forgotten to receive love. Kaya kung minsan may nagbigay siya ng love gift, yung alam paano tanggapin. You don't know how to receive love. Especially the love of the Father. Don't try to be good. Nakakapagod. But be expert in receiving the love of God. Unfortunately, we don't know how to receive love. Actually, it's not that we don't know. Our hearts have so many closed doors. Closed because of the negative love that we receive from our parents. Because our parents are the first expression of the love of the Father. If you did not receive lavishly expressions of love from your parents, chances are you could not give it even to your spouse. You could not even give love to your children. Worse, you hurt them. Then one day, one of our speakers asked me, Nick, what are the immediate results of you receiving the love of the Father? You know what automatically came out from me? I love to go home to my family. Honestly, for 19 years, I could not say no to Mr. King. If he said, mag-meeting tayo, I could not say no for 19 years. But this time, I could say to him, Sir, uwi na. I have to go home to my family.
Immediately. I don't know. I did not attend a seminar on how to fix your family. Automatically just came out. Even now, sa totoo lang ako, gusto ko umuwi. Woo! Because Jack Frost said, one of the speakers said, the center of the universe is your family. That's the design of the Father in Garden of Eden is a family. It's not even your ecclesia. And if I go home, ewan ko po, totoo ito mga batid. Gusto ko linisin yung kitchen. Linisin. And then one day I begin to love going to the market. Hindi mo na kumarunong mamalengke. Then I begin to cook. Hindi ako marunong magluto. Sometimes tumatama, sometimes hindi. I don't know. I just begin to love. Then I begin to bring my family to the restaurants almost every week, which I've never done in my life. Even during special days. Nagmi-meeting nga ng Pasko. Walang ganyan yan sa pamahalaan.
Amen.
Yeah, honest. Before, my money, I would always use it for ministry. So every time I would go home, my wife said, wala namang pera. Kasi alam na, pamigay ko. But to spend for my family, I don't. But this time, come on, let's go to some gibson. Wow. Come, let's have some steak. Ooh. I don't know, it just came out. But of course I can say, because your Father's love would nourish your heart. That's the desire of the Father, is to family. Express it automatically to your family. As our speaker said, the real proof that you receive the love of the Father is when you ask your wife, or when you ask your children. And for the first time in my life, as a father and husband, I begin to receive texts. My daughter would text me, "Pa, I love you." I also received a text from my wife. She said, "Dear, you are a good man." I never received those lines for almost 25 years in my life. Yes, we are not perfect. We are not perfect. Because the love of the Father changes not. It's constant. Every day, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I just enjoy His presence. I just bask in His presence. I just bask in His love. I just lie down on His love as His Son. Because I will always be His Son forever. And that leveled my life. So yung nakasulat po dyan na NFS National Coordinator, hindi na po totoo yan. I resigned as an executive director at NFS because I said, I don't need the title. That's just me. I don't need the title to walk as a son with my Father. It's so freeing to be a son. So freeing to be receiving His love. The next thing that changed my kapatid is this. I begin to look at my daughter, so beautiful and so good. Before, she's always not enough. There's always wrong in her. Now I begin to appreciate her. I begin to see her creativity. She's an artist. She can dance. She can do some theater. I begin to appreciate her. Before, when I would fetch her in her school, and she would tell me, "Papa, fetch me 12 o'clock." And And if she would come out, even just 12:15 or 12:20, I would be berating her. Why did you not text me that you are coming out 12:15? I could have done more in my office. I would be, But this time, if she will tell me, Papa, fetch me at 12, even if she will come out 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I would still be lying down in my car, just waiting for her. Nobody taught me about that. Because love is patient. Love is automatically kind. And one more good thing, Mabatid, is this. I don't even need to tell to my daughter, these are the things you need to do, these are the things you don't need to do. She knows it. Kapatid, tama mo ninyong sabihan ng anak ko, huwag mong gawin to. Mali yan, tama ito. Alam nila po yan. Guarantee. Believe me. Alam nila ang tama o mali. Kahit yung magnanakaw, alam niya ang tama o mali. Subukan mong nakawan yung magnanakaw, magagalit sa'yo. Alam niya, wag mo nang sasabihan. But nourish them with love, they will change. Now my daughter just texted me again. And I'm so confident right now with her journey. Just nourish her with love. Embrace her. She comes home. Embrace her. I embrace my wife. Even sometimes she's angry. I don't need to argue with her. I just touch her. Before she would ask me to massage her, because she grew up being massaged by her dad. Eh ako, I never grew up experiencing a massage from my parents, so I couldn't do it. So that would be a bone of contention between us. You are a husband, why can't you not just massage me? You're seeing me, I'm already tired. Of course I will massage her. But while massaging her, I'll be looking at my watch. Oh, 1 minute. 2 minutes. I would just use my discernment, my gift of discernment. If I will stop massaging her, will she be okay or will she still be angry? That used to be. But this time, even if she won't ask me to massage her, here, you're tired now. I'll massage you. I don't know where that comes from, but it's only the love of Father. Sometimes sabi niya, tama na, di, okay pa. It's not because of what is right and wrong, correct or incorrect, righteous or unrighteous. It is all because of the love of the Father. Ano to, Bishop? Wala tayong oras. Pag 3 days na lang tayo sa susunod. Let's all stand up. Let's all stand.